No. I
It ain't
don't,
my
Trevor.
internet.
I don't need it tonight. I don't.
What do you need? Tell me what you need. Tell me what you need from me.
Are you gonna let me speak? I need respect. I need loyalty. I need companionship,
Okay.
and I need loyalty.
Okay, you said the same thing twice, but
What
now can I tell you what I need?
do you need? I got my notes. I'm ready.
Okay.
Did you prepare? Over pho?
Accountability, for one. Okay. Respect, big one. Okay. Admiration,
Respect is earned,
admiration,
not given, earned.
or not even
Earned.
admiration for three. Okay. Also a very big one, and moxie. That's what I need.
Moxie. Oh, you'll get Moxie from me, buddy. I promise you.
Will I? You know who?
Yeah.
You know who I texted before we got. So I texted Brandon. Shot in the dark. So I texted Brandon. I'm like, hey, Tristan and I are doing an episode in a little bit. You want to hop on? Do you want to?
What do you say?
Do you want
What
to
do
guess
you
what he
say?
said?
With the girl.
No, he was like, mind you, it's almost 8 o'clock. Sorry, bro. He's like, I'm about to go to dinner. Who goes to dinner at fucking 8 o'clock? Someone who doesn't have to be up early tomorrow.
Yeah. I think he makes his own schedule somehow. Somehow he's got money coming in from all avenues. We'll never begin to understand.
I don't understand it. I mean, his dog's reaping the benefits of it though.
You see the one yesterday?
Dude, that's what I've been telling you. See what I mean? I was asking if you saw that. I'm not making it up. He's on a fucking treadmill.
Things to tank.
Dude, I don't care.
Tank,
Dude, the funniest part was, hold on, I actually screenshotted it. Hold on, the quote, what he typed was hilarious. He said, "Oh, God, some say this is cruel or that she doesn't enjoy it. You think your dog enjoys the sedentary lifestyle you live?" The dog doesn't care, bro. The dog doesn't care.
Are you recording? I have to ask now
Yeah.
because I have horror stories from the last time you weren't recording and we were just rolling.
I have the ability to make mistakes, yes. But yes, I am recording. Hey, what did I say? That's right there.
Okay. Moxie. You needed Moxie.
That's not Moxie, okay? No.
Let me write
None of that
down.
tonight. None of that
Moxie.
tonight. All right. We're live.
Them.
We're active. It's about 7:49 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
9:50 if you're here in the single-digit Nashville like I am.
Don't you guys have some ice storms going on over there, don't you?
I haven't left my house since Sunday afternoon. Can't leave.
I'm jealous of
my window.
I
couldn't even get out my garage. Nor do I want to try.
Is it that bad?
If I tried getting out my garage, I'd end up. I just have a sheet of ice on the. Just a sheet. And the highways are cleared by this point, obviously, but back roads in my neighborhood, driveways, streets, no, I would be in trouble with my 2-wheel drive pickup. So.
Lucky bastard, dude.
Tris stays put. So I'm made some salmon tonight, some asparagus.
Whoa!
Oh, that's right. You heard right. That's right.
Yeah?
That's right. You heard right.
Salmon and asparagus, huh?
Right. Yeah.
What'd you put on her?
Absolutely. Tasty. Huh?
Sure. What'd you put on her? Please share.
Put on salmon? Just a little salt and pepper. I'm not big on like a ton of seasoning, so I just did a little avocado oil and some salt and seasoning. Brushed her on up.
No lemon juice?
No, I didn't. You know, I could have gone for a little bit more flavor. So maybe text me offline some tips for. We can talk offline.
But asparagus and salmon. Look at you go.
I'm getting mushrooms are a big thing too. I like. I like sautéing some mushrooms.
Oh, me too.
Some avocado oil.
Putting them on anything good.
And I can freaking have that as a lunch, just a bowl of mushrooms.
Oh, they're
sauteed
good, dude.
Up.
With some garlic in there. Oh, baby.
Oh, garlic, huh? Now you're giving me some ideas. Yeah, I need to. That's where I need to explore is some of the sauces and the.
Oh, dude,
the flavor.
You'd love some fucking creamy mushroom pasta, dude. Oh.
Creamy mushroom pasta. Send me a recipe, will you?
I'll write your book, Tris. ZZ's Book of Tricks.
Well, apparently you're a big cook now, and it's making me, a little jealous.
I enjoy it.
That's somewhere I'm lacking a bit. So
I'm trying to be a little more resourceful as an adult, and I'll tell you what, when you cook a nice home cooked meal, you feel a lot more fulfilled than when you go out.
Well, you feel a lot more fulfilled, and your pocket will feel a lot more fulfilled
Yeah,
too.
that's well.
And
Well, depends what you're making. I mean, I went to the grocery store, spent $70 on fucking ingredients. Fucking insane. But it depends what you're making. But yeah. Wait, you saute mushrooms
it
with nothing in them?
avocado oil and salt.
That's what you need to do. You need to throw some garlic in there.
Boy, they tasty. Yeah, man. Some like little. Yeah, I don't know. Something. I want to experiment. But oh man, it's tasty. I do like salmon too. What I need to get better at I need to get better at steak in the air fryer. I
I'm
need to master that.
not an air fryer
But I
guy.
don't. But well, so that's what I'm doing, and it's big. Um, and it's good, but I feel like I haven't got the steak quite down yet. Um,
I'm a big
so
steak
I
guy.
need to.
I've done a lot of steaks
Maybe
now.
I just need to sear it. Maybe I just need
That's I like to,
to
I
sear
like
it
doing that the
on.
best. I got myself a nice cast iron. Oh baby.
Maybe I just need to do that. And but
I've never done steak in
no,
an air
I'm
fryer.
dude, like 2 years living on my own, 3 or 4 years. Well, even when I had my Portland apartment 4 or 5 years ago, I was never cooking like that. I would keep it so basic, like omelets in the morning, sandwiches for lunch, and I would like, you know,
It's a little boring, no?
roast a chicken breast, a bunch of chicken breasts in the oven. But now I'm like
Need a
getting
little
a little
more.
bit more, getting a little more variety.
And it's fun. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
Adding fish to the mix, and beef to the mix, and mushrooms and asparagus, fresh vegetables. I will say, after doing fresh vegetables, I'm not sure I can go back to frozen. I can't do frozen anything
I
anymore.
don't like doing frozen anything.
Like I don't
If
I
I
don't
can
like
if I can help it,
thawed
I won't.
I don't like thawed meat or dethawed meat.
That's a bitch. That's a bitch.
Or thawing meat. Um, and it's kind of gross to me, and I don't know. I just
The
like
only
fresh.
time I will freeze is if like because I go to the butcher and then I'll get stuff. I'll put it in the freezer so it stays
Right.
longer. Good. Other than that,
Well,
I
and
will. No,
I
you
haven't
won't
found a
find me in the
Mexican
refrigerator
butcher.
in the freezer aisle. You won't find me there.
One guy, I was talking to someone at the gym. He was saying he found a great butcher like in Utah that he would literally buy his meat from like Utah or something and have it shipped out here, and it was like fresh, and this guy was totally legit and didn't like totally ding you on shipping. I can't remember what he said the name was, but anyway. But because I want to figure out a good place to like get meat from.
Well,
Um,
there's a place like around the way home from work for me, so it's perfect. But I've fucked up a few times because you forget if it's fresh and there's no preservatives like in processed foods. So
no,
if you
it'll
put it in
go
the
bad
fridge,
quick.
you got a couple days maybe. That's it. So
Yeah,
you got to freeze
yeah,
it or fucking make it and eat it. And I've let multiple things go bad already. I'm like, fuck.
yeah. Like, do you remember Cartwright's in Medford? Like, that place was legit.
I don't think I ever went. I mean, I think my parents got stuff from there
Oh,
and froze it. They like to store in their
you know
like
where
meat
it's at?
freezer.
Over in
But
South Medford.
yeah, I've seen
You know
it
where it's
before.
at?
Yeah, I've never actually. I
Or
don't really. Maybe they did. I wouldn't remember if they made it and if it was that place or not.
Oh man, yeah, that place was special. We'd go there once a week, especially during COVID. Oh, boy, would we go there? Um, get meals for the whole freaking week. But
Well,
whoops,
enough from
shoot,
food. I thought we would start by
introducing ourselves.
what we didn't like. I'm gonna start with the didn't likes, and I'll tell you one thing I didn't like. I think we have to, for a buy or sell. I think I'm selling Dak Prescott.
You want to start with that game?
Yeah, I,
All right.
I mean,
So your biggest problem, you're Jerry Jones. What moves are you making this offseason? Because he already said they're bringing the fat guy back, McCarthy. They're bringing
yeah,
him back.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield for example. I mean, this guy's had fucking 25 different it's not, it's like 8 or something different coaches. This guy
And
has more fucking playoff wins than fucking Dak Prescott does.
what's interesting, and we'll get to Baker separately, but
Baker's doesn't.
I think there's a bunch going wrong with the Cowboys. One, I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think they really respect the head coach. I just don't. Just it's it's hard to get. I was telling Jesse this. It's just it seems like the out of shape white coaches. It's just hard for these world class athletes to respect guys like that, unless you're Bill Belichick or Andy Reid. But like Brian Daboll, the Giants, nobody. It feels like nobody respects him. Chip Kelly, they didn't really respect him in the NFL. You know, it's just these guys that are just so out of shape, you know, and I feel like McCarthy kind of fits that build. And so I feel like the team doesn't I feel like from the get-go they're kind of playing behind the eight ball because they don't really trust the head coach. They don't really, you know, buy into what he's selling. And then you turn to Dak. And Dak, I feel like Dak is Dak. We know what we're getting with Dak. I think at the end of the day, his stat line was like a fantasy dream: 400 yards, 3 scores. But
Yeah, 403 or something.
the pick six was awful.
It was bad. It was embarrassing. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, and that was embarrassing.
It's one of those things. Like it happened with the Ducks against Washington in the Pac-12 championship. Like when your team gives up to start, like it feels like. So say you defer, that you win the toss and defer, and I'm not sure if Packers won the toss and chose to receive, but likely Cowboys won the toss and deferred, which is what most people do. And so boom, Packers get the ball. Packers are built to run this methodical offense right down, you know, the field. Take like 8 minutes off the clock or whatever they took. I can't remember exactly. And then score a touchdown. Boom. You're up 7-0. Offense hasn't even come on the field. And you know, you just took half the first quarter away. Right
over
there.
Half, yeah.
Over half. And then boom, what does Dallas come back and do? I think they went 3 and out.
Yeah, it was
first drive.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what the Ducks did. And then all of a sudden you're like fighting to not go down. You're putting your defense right back on the field immediately after just getting gassed for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And however many plays. You're putting your defense right back out on the field and asking them to prevent this thing from becoming a 2-score game at 10-0 or 14-0. I can't remember if it immediately went to 14-0. I think it did. But and then all of a sudden you feel like your whole game plan's like gone to shit. Like you can't run the ball.
The
like
next
now,
thing, yeah, they're just putting out fires for the duration of the game.
Yeah, Dak's not built to try to like get in shotgun 4 or 5 wide and you know throw his way back into a game like he's Josh Allen or Mahomes. He's not one of those quarterbacks. He's gonna make some nice throws. CD had a couple drops, I think.
Yeah, he had a couple,
if I remember correctly. And then they're bitching at each other, like they're angry at each other. CD's probably a bit of a diva, I'm sure.
I mean, he has the right to be a little bit.
Yeah, he's a good receiver, but hasn't translated to win. So no. I mean, how good are you? And and then the defense just, I mean, what did Dallas rank defensively? Top 5, maybe in the league this year. They've got a defensive coordinator that everyone views as like the hottest, you know, coaching candidate. He's been a head coach, obviously, in Atlanta and coached those Seattle defenses that were the Legion of Boom defenses. And I mean, he's certainly got a resume. Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator.
No shit.
At the start, before going to Atlanta, and so he comes in, and they just get the break speed off him. Parsons never gets to the quarterback. I mean,
Parsons disappeared. I was wondering where the fuck he was at.
Yeah. And so the
I mean, what was it? What was the fight? Was it? They had 48 points, right? Green Bay. They had 48.
Yeah.
48 fucking points.
So let's flip it for a second and say Jordan Love. That guy played as good as you can play. I mean, mistake-free. He's sitting back there. I know you don't want to get into comparisons, but he sits back there and throws off his back foot just like he's Aaron Rodgers. It's weird to me when he just kind of sits on his back foot there and, you know, does his like keeps the ball kind of low and then just is like lobbing, you know, certain stuff all over the field. That's what Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah.
And he learned under him. And when he doesn't make mistakes and throw picks, and Aaron Jones is running like a maniac.
Yeah, they look
They're
outstanding.
tough to beat. They're tough to
I
beat.
mean, when you watch that game, does not look like a 10-8 team when how they played.
No,
Does not
and
look
they
like a
lost a
10-8
couple
team.
stupid. They lost a stupid one in Atlanta early in the year, and Jordan Love played bad a little bit, like midway through the year, early in the year. But since the end of the year, I can't remember what it was. He's like 21 touchdowns to 1 interception in his last however many games, 8 games or something. He's got a ridiculous. I'll have to go back and check my notes on that one, but he. I mean, they're a tough team. Now we'll see. We'll see if San Francisco just absolutely stops them in their tracks, or if that's a decent game. But
I would think they would, but after watching that, they look pretty damn good.
They look good. They look good. And so the Cowboys go into this offseason. They already said they're keeping McCarthy. Okay, that's fine. I was kind of thinking, do you go and get Mike Vrabel? I feel like Vrabel in Dallas would bring an edge to the Cowboys that hasn't been there.
It looks, dude, they just look like they gave up. I mean, what is it? What Shanahan was saying in the interview is like, a little bit after the second quarter, we were just looking at the Packers because they just knew they were going to win.
Yeah,
it just looked like they gave up.
It was over. It was over.
It was. I don't think anyone really saw that coming. To be honest, I didn't.
No, I mean, I thought Cowboys would win.
I thought they're going to win for sure. And then I come downstairs because I took a shower, and they're getting shut out. I think you're right. It was 14-0 at one point, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then they got to like 20 or something, or 21, and then I'm making food, and I'm like, dude, holy shit, is it going to be a fucking blowout?
Right.
And I was flabbergasted.
So we'll see what they do this offseason. Dak's got a bad contract. You know, like I said, we know what he is.
Mr. Hip thrust as he's fucking. You see him do that, dude?
It's so funny.
Dude, I fucking hate it, dude. Oh my god.
It just became like viral immediately.
So bad.
But I don't know. If you're Dallas, what would you do this offseason? The changes you would make?
I honestly don't like Dak, dude. I don't. I think.
So what are you cutting him?
I think I'm looking elsewhere to see if we can pick something up.
Like a Kirk Cousins?
Like a Captain Kirk, perhaps. I don't know. I just am. I'm sorry. I think he's had plenty of opportunities to prove he could do something big in a big situation, and he just shits the sheets.
To me, this one. Now, I think he's certainly shit the sheets, but I think this one was more just a defense. Like, I honestly think this one was more about the defense and just getting the brakes beat off you from.
They did, but I just feel like their defense is. I mean, throughout this, they played some good teams, they had some really good games, and they played absolutely solid a lot of the time. Their defense, I don't know what the fuck happened, to be quite honest. So, aside from defensive coordinator and Dak, I would say I'd start there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing, after watching the game, that's the only thing you really say, especially after I mean, was there a time in the season where I was watching the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm like, dude, every time I watch them, I'm like, God, their defense is fucking raw.
Yeah.
And
especially because regular season Parsons, he
was asleep at the wheel the whole game.
He's running after quarterbacks like he's a freaking polar bear.
And I don't really know what the fuck happened. I mean, it's especially for how solid they were. I think everyone was thinking the same thing. Like, Cowboys are doing something this year. Nope, just kidding. And I think that's the Cowboys that's the Cowboys in a nutshell, is it not?
McCarthy's been coaching there 4 years, so I really thought Jerry would say, it's been enough time. Like, we're going a different direction, because 3 straight years. It's not like they've been 9-8, 10-7. Hovering right around 500, just over. They've been 12-5, 3 straight seasons, and they've got 1 playoff win against Tom Brady on his way out with Tampa last year to show for it. 1 playoff win in 3 years on Wild Card Weekend.
That's worse than just not making the playoffs in general, in my opinion.
12-5. You're 12-5. You've got to win at least, and you've got to get back to an NFC Championship. And you've got Jerry. Jerry wants to win. He's going to do anything. Like it's just, um, if I was the Cowboys, I wouldn't be ready to move on from Dak because I don't think you could find a viable option. You know, you're 12-5, so you're not getting a good draft spot for a first round quarterback. You know, unless someone just falls like Aaron Rodgers did to the Packers. You know, whenever that was, but so I don't think you can like get a good quarterback late in the first round. Nor do I think they should use a first round pick on a quarterback. Like I
No.
think they need to draft, you know, defensive or
But that's the
another
tough part because then you look at their
linebacker or
defense
defensive
and who the
lineman.
fuck. I mean, okay, let's go back in the season. Let's watch film. Let's see what we did this year, and it's fucking solid. And then until you get to that point where it's make or break, they fucking shit the bed. That's tough. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
especially at home.
that is 20 times worse than having a shitty season and not making the playoffs. Is having a more than good enough team, better than most, and then shitting the sheets over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
That's way worse.
Absolutely.
That's way worse. I'd
Which is
rather be the
why
Jets than them in this situation.
well, so let's go on to the next game. Very similar division rival had the same exact course, the Eagles. Like I wouldn't be surprised if
Hey,
Sirianni's fired
we
because
we
they
did sit here
10-1,
we did
10
sit
and
here
1.
last episode and say that these guys are fucking in shambles. We did say it.
Shambles. And Jalen Hurts is weird. He's a weird guy.
That escape room didn't do much. That team bonding exercise didn't help him.
No, and AJ Brown is I guess just like doing his Antonio Brown. Like see you later. You know, he
Yeah.
didn't want any part of playing. He scrubbed his Instagram, of course.
Yeah, he did. I saw
And
that.
you guys were in the Super Bowl 11 months ago. And it's just and all of a sudden, you know, Jason, the Eagles had more than enough,
Yeah.
especially on offense. They've got a great offensive
More than
line,
enough talent to get it done,
good
dude.
receivers, good running backs, and then your defense. I mean, props to Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay, after Tom, it seemed like Tom was just limping that team last
Yeah,
year to a division
yeah.
title, and then they got the brakes beat off them by Dallas at home. Um, and you know Tom retires, and then I'll give credit to Aikman on the broadcast. Like he got it right, talking about how you know the Bucks are so cap strapped because you know they dished out all this money during the Super Bowl Tom Brady days, like Mike Evans, Godwin. You know they paid some linemen. Paid the linebacker. They paid Levante David. They paid Devin White. And Antoine Winfield, and all those guys that they paid from that Super Bowl team. And so they're like way cap strapped. And so Tom retires. So okay, that clears a little bit, but you're still way over the cap. And so they needed a quarterback to come in cheap. And if they were going to be somewhat decent, quarterback had to play well above his contract. And Baker did exactly that. God bless him. You've got to, I mean,
He did do exactly that.
And let's just talk about a guy that has the respect of all his teammates. You can tell he does. I mean, remember last year when the Rams picked him up and he started like the next night and won that game on Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, whatever it was. And he's headbutting fools on the sideline with his helmet off, and he's headbutting them in the helmet. I mean, this guy just has that persona around him, and I think guys like want to go win for him. They're like, okay, he's not fast. He's an undersized quarterback, but he's the number one draft pick somehow, because he had a great, couple years at Oklahoma. He's the number one draft pick. Didn't do anything in Cleveland, or I guess won Cleveland. They won that playoff game, then almost beat the Chiefs, if you remember that. That Cleveland team was actually good.
They weren't bad.
That year or two when they had I think they had Odell at that point. Maybe not. I think they had Odell and Amari Cooper at that point.
They had Odell.
And that was a good Cleveland team. And Nick Chubb, I mean, yeah, they were good. And I mean, I just feel like people like Baker and want
they do
to
like
see him
Baker. I
succeed.
mean, what he
Carolina, horrible situation. That's where he first got traded to
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever, and then,
no.
went to the Rams to fill in for Stafford, but that was never gonna be a long-term thing. And then, boom, he signs cheap with Tampa as Tom Brady's replacement, I
Yeah,
guess.
just trying to
And
grab somebody. It seemed like
yeah,
somebody that was decent that
and
could.
then
And then he fucking he stepped up and did the big job. I mean, what did he throw for 300 something yards, 330 or something?
3 touchdowns, no
Just
picks.
and guess what? They're playing the Eagles, and everyone's expecting the Buccaneers to fucking get shit on.
And he got victimized by, like, 3 drops. If you saw Evans dropped, like, 2
Yeah, Evans
deep
dropped some bad
balls
ones. Yeah,
and, that tight end's not bad either. Is it Otten? Um,
I don't know his name.
Otten, I think. He kinda looks like a little Gronk wannabe, but he, but, I mean, yeah, props to Baker. I mean, I saw some tweet and it just killed me. They're like, it took Tampa Bay 6 months to figure out a post Tom Brady replacement. Patriots are on year 5. And that is so true, dude. It's
Yeah,
so true. Um,
I mean, dude.
but
Well, 32-9. I like we said earlier, it's very hard to imagine the lineup that Philadelphia has offensively, and to see them score fucking 9 points, dude. Just
yeah,
start back to the drawing board, back to the fucking drawing board. I mean, something's got to
yeah.
change there. That's insane. And not to
Well,
mention, have the Buccaneers had such an overwhelming defensive team that they're able to hold the Eagles with the offensive weapons they have to fucking 9 points?
I do think Todd Bowles is a great defensive coach.
I
Now,
mean, I just don't think that they should be holding them
I mean,
9
he
points.
was. Well, you got to think too. A lot of that Tampa defense, Vita Vea's of the world, Devin White, Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield. Remember Antoine Winfield? I think was the one that gave Cheetah the peace sign after
Cheetah.
in the Super Bowl. You remember
Was
that? I
he?
mean, this is a lot of the same guys are from that Super Bowl team.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
And that Super Bowl, I mean, we saw what they did to the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, Mahomes and company. So they've definitely got players on defense for sure. And Todd Bowles, he was coaching that defense, and now he's the head coach, obviously. But I mean, I think that defense is good. So I tell you, the game I can't wait for. I've got it penciled on my calendar as we speak. We've got that Lions Buccaneers game Sunday at 2
Yeah,
p.m. Central.
it's gonna be a good game.
I it being. Did you see that idiot reporter asked Todd Bowles if they're doing anything to prepare for the cold weather in Detroit, and Detroit plays in a dome?
I didn't see that. What?
Yeah. Like, what are you
No.
doing? Has this like long question. Todd lets her finish. He goes, we play indoors, right? Or something. It's
Oh,
so funny.
she's gonna think about that one for a while.
Yeah. She probably thought she was being brilliant with the
Dude,
question about
speaking
the
of
weather
fun,
and
I'll just
everything.
divert for a moment. But dude, speaking of funny, funny interviews after the game, dude, Mike Tomlin. Did you see Mike
Oh,
Tomlin get
just
out?
like just
Dude,
pieced out of there.
looked like he
That was
just
weird.
looks just grumpy as fuck. Like he just got out of bed. He's just like,
That was weird.
that was very weird.
Um,
Yeah, that was something. I mean, I knew
yeah,
I knew that game was gonna go that way, anyways. But
we got a Saturday, Texans at Ravens.
Ravens are gonna probably wipe the floor.
Saturday night. Saturday night.
Green
we
Bay
got
versus San
Packers at
Francisco. Yeah,
Raiders.
is that in San Francisco, right?
You betcha.
Yeah,
You betcha. I got home
that's
field
gonna be.
advantage.
I mean, if you would have asked me before, let's just say it was a close game. Green Bay barely wins. I would say it's kind of a mop-up job. But for how well they played after that, I'm kind of thinking this is going to be a shootout, maybe a little bit.
Could be. So let's go back to wild card for a second here. So let's talk about maybe some that weren't surprising. Bills over
Bills,
the Steelers.
that's what I'm saying. I was not surprised.
Steelers. I feel like a couple of these cold weather games. My dad always says, and he's right in this case, because he always goes back to Andrew Luck. Peyton Manning was never great with it either. But Josh Allen and Mahomes both throw great in the cold.
Yeah.
And that is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. Have you ever tried to throw anything in the cold? It's fucking impossible.
No.
Even a baseball, dude.
Allen and Mahomes are fantastic at it. And it's good for them because they play in freaking cold ass areas. But like Peyton was never great at it. And it's funny because he played at Denver, where they had some cold there. That's where he struggled coming to New England on some of the cold games. Tom was obviously great at it, but it's a hard thing to do. And so that's why like those two results, Tua couldn't do anything in
Oh,
the
not a
cold,
damn thing. He might as well. They
And
might as
so
well put me out there.
yeah, so I feel like both those games were right within expectations. Dolphins hung around for a bit, but
Yeah, it wasn't.
they couldn't do anything offensively because Tua's game is on these quick passes, and it's like he couldn't get the ball and zip it out in that weather, and so the whole he just had no shot. And I feel like same with the Steelers. Steelers made it interesting for sure. When they blocked the field goal, and then they had a late touchdown drive, but I wasn't really surprised to see the Bills still win by 2 touchdowns. So that the other one I wanted to talk about quickly is Lions Rams, and then Texans Browns. So let's start with Texans Browns. How impressed are you with CJ Stroud?
He's
And
good.
how
He's
real do you
good,
think they
dude.
are?
Dude. He's unreal, dude.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm sick, dude.
I wasn't sure what you were doing.
I'm sick. Dude, CJ Stroud, he's something special. Dude, he's crazy. This dude's, he's out of his mind. He's playing out of his fucking mind. And I mean, obviously, are they heading to the chopping block coming up? I think so, which is unfortunate.
You think Ravens smoke them?
I don't think they smoke him, but I don't think it's a nail biter either. I think it's going to be a run the clock out kind of game at one point. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. CJ Stroud's been playing out of his mind. Hello. Oh yeah.
What's up?
My phone was connected to the Bluetooth speaker.
Your phone?
Yeah, I was playing music. I didn't even know. It was blasting music back there. I didn't fucking know.
You leave your mark everywhere you go. You're like a freaking skunk. Don't make that face ever again. That looked horrible.
Thanks, dude.
Jeez. Oh, that was just a gross look.
That's mean, dude. It's pretty mean. I'm actually kind of offended, for being honest.
What are you mad about?
That's kind of mean, dude. It's disconnected.
Do you need to work some stuff out?
No. No, we don't need to. Okay, it's out. It's off. It's off. It's off. It's off. It's off.
Tell me you love me. Tell me you're leaving.
Anyways, where were we at?
Here all night. Stroud.
Unbelievable quarterback.
Texans.
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. I mean, also, who I really am actually starting to like is their tight end, Dalton Schultz. I'm a fan. I like Schultz. I think
he was a cowgirl for a while.
I think he's sick.
Yeah, he was a cowboy for a while.
Well, he was only for like what, a year or two?
I think longer, but yeah, I mean, DeMeco Ryans comes from that San Francisco coaching tree.
Which, speaking of which, Dalton Schultz, amazing fantasy football pickup for me, free agency, middle of the year.
Not that it did us any good. We were playing in Cancun. Cancun on 3Z.
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Well, the funniest thing about the fantasy season, which I very much indulge in, is where Jesse ended up, which is hilarious. Jesse pulled the Dallas Cowboys. Jesse pulled the Dallas Cowboys, dude. That's what he did.
Yeah, we were all in Cancun.
Oh no shit. Who got
It was a 4G. I think it was G.
Who was in last? Who got the toilet bowl?
Wasn't it like Jelante or something?
I don't know, but
we're kicking Jelante out of the league.
Well, also
he doesn't set his lineups.
Well, yeah, because he was like halfway, like week 4 or 5. I think he stopped setting him because he was just like.
Well, that's stupid. You can't
I
be in a
agree.
league if you're not going
I
to
agree
say it.
because here's the thing. Here's the
You
thing.
can't just be an
At
automatic
one
win.
point,
For everyone
because
else.
this is what it becomes when it gets into tight races and you have a four-way tie, like I was in multiple times this season. When there's a 4 or 5-way tie, and they have someone not
Yeah,
saying their lineups, then whoever plays is like, oh, they just got a fucking free win while I'm fucking
yeah,
playing Dylan, playing Christian McCaffrey, who's got 45 fucking points. So
yeah.
it becomes a freebie for the
That's
person who plays them.
the Cox Jones administration next year is going to be making a lot of changes, and this is one of them.
So
And
has power been alleviated from Brandon Bodiato?
well, we'll be seasoning it. That's for sure. Um, so you
Because
can bet
here's the
on
thing.
that.
Okay, here also side note. Are we voting? Okay, I know some people. This is a big controversy in the league. Are we bringing defense back instead of taking away that extra flex position?
I don't like having that many flexes
I don't.
because it's
After
annoying
playing
to
in a
have
year, I
to.
actually don't either. I kind of prefer the defense.
Yeah, I thought defense is fun. It's fun when a defense goes off, but you should have to keep a defense. I don't like guys not drafting a defense and then each week finding which defense is playing a backup quarterback or something,
Well, yeah, but
and
that's not
trying
something
to
you can.
cherry pick.
I mean, that's just part of it. I mean, if you have
You should have
defenses, that's
to
just part of
you
it.
should have to keep you should have to play a defense for 3 consecutive weeks. So Jesse and I are working this out. We'll let you know what we come up with, but
Oh, thank you.
we're yeah, we'll keep you guys informed for sure.
I
But
mean, I mean, you could say the same thing. Like, obviously not as much as a defense, but I'm saying in certain scenarios where maybe you overdraft, you didn't get a backup quarterback here. You know, I'll just pick one up later. And then there's a quarterback that's playing a really shitty team who's okay, and you pick him up. It's kind of the same thing, even though defenses are a lot different than that. But I mean, that's part of fantasy football, right?
yeah, but you're talking about a backup quarterback. I'm talking about a starting defense, but like I said, we got to handle. We're figuring it all out.
I mean, I liked it. I
Uh,
also, by the way, okay, not that I don't like Sleeper. I actually do. I liked the original app, by the way. Just saying, that's just me. I liked it the best because it also has all our years of history and files. You can go back and look on it. It was really cool. I didn't like switching over.
yeah, they kind of screwed that up.
Because
So I
for all
agree.
the last however many years we've been on there, it was fun because I could be on there. My accounts there. All of our past seasons are on there. I could go back and look. I'm like, oh my god, look at that shit. I'm like, oh, and this time what was I getting? Who did I draft first? Just so you can look, or who had a good record at this point in the season 5 years ago. It's cool to go back and then you see all
Whoa.
the players. It
You're really
is.
down bad if you're looking up that.
It's fun to look at. We have a lot of history. Our league has a lot of history. Deep roots in fantasy football.
It does. I'm a champion in this league, so I was sad to see the app switched over.
Hey, I'll tell you what though.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. You know,
what? Speak.
regardless of how the year turned out, I think I turned my season around, and I really did. I did something special. I did. I think regardless,
You
win or
did.
lose,
I'll tell you.
win or lose, I turned it around and I made something out of it. And I'll tell you this: if I don't play fucking Dylan 2 weeks in a row, I beat the snot out of him 1 week. But then Christian McCaffrey plays the fucking Cardinals the next week, gets 40-something points, like I predicted. Because guess what?
You did predict it too.
Because what? And then the next week after that, guess what? I'm playing consolation, and I outscore everybody. I'm like, so if I don't lose that, I'm beating whoever the fuck I play next, and it's just that's just how it works out.
Yeah, we're playing in Cancun. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, or whatever the expression is.
It's just sad. That's just sad how it lines up. I mean, but it is what it is, and we'll do what we always do. We'll go back to the drawing
Beating
board.
this not out of him.
I was, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close, and he was there chirping me, texting me, and I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. And I will say that most of my lineup at one point were all fucking free agents. I had some restructuring to do early on in the season, very much so, especially with Breece Hall being on light duty and Mike Williams' season-ending injury off the rip. That was a killer. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, Mike Williams' glass.
absolutely the dude's made of plastic. So we'll take it. Is what it is. I mean, if it wasn't for losing to Braden by half or 0.38 points, I would have.
Yeah,
I was on.
that was a bad
I
beat.
went on like a 6-7 game winning streak at one point, dude.
That was
I turned it around.
That was wasn't that the Mahomes drop?
Yes,
With
we were
yes,
on. We were
yeah,
on
we're on
watching.
the air.
Dude,
We're on the
it
air.
was Tony, wasn't it, who dropped it? Was it Tony? Or was
No, it was
it was
Scantling.
Scantling,
It was
Scantling, Scantling,
Scantling. It
Scantling.
was
Oh
Scantling.
my god. Dude, all I needed was
That
a
was when you
fucking
were.
anything.
That was when you put up the
Anything. And I know I had Butker too, and I'm like, dude, I mean all I need is a fucking extra point or a fucking field goal, and it's just sad.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was tough.
I admit.
That was tough.
That was bad.
That's a heartbreak.
Because then
Anyway, you get it.
then the whole seedings are, the seeds change and everything with another win there, and
Dude,
mean,
the funniest part of that whole
absolutely
thing,
bamboozled.
the funniest part of that is I think I had some free agent in there. I think it was like Gus Edwards, who had notoriously fucked everyone who picked him up. I put Gus Edwards in on my flex because I had no one else. I had injuries and buys. I'm like, fuck, I have no one else. I'll just throw him in there. And at the same time, I had picked up Tutu Atwell, knowing he wasn't going to do shit, but just to have someone else to throw in there. I put Tutu in, and then I put Gus Edwards in last minute. And here's the funny thing, that Tutu Atwell ended up getting one more point than Gus Edwards did. And Gus Edwards got it was like 1.8 or something. And Tutu had like 2.8. If I had put him in, I would have won by that same amount, which is fucking ridiculous. But
Tutu, is he Rams or Lions? Because I saw him had a touchdown.
Rams.
He's Rams.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that game. That was the only great game of the weekend.
I'm buying as I said this earlier in the year.
That was the only good game of the weekend.
I mean, it was.
Saturday night.
I'll stand where I stood in the beginning of the year.
Where you stood.
I'll stand where I stood. We should put that on a shirt. Which is I love the Lions. I've loved the Lions. I've loved how they played. I love Jared Goff, and especially in the beginning of the season, from the start, I've loved the running game that they have between David Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs.
They're tough. Those two are tough.
I love the tandem between those two. I think it's fucking amazing. I think you have Dave Montgomery, a veteran who can plow through anybody and get yourself on the goal line. Jahmyr Gibbs, who's just a speedster who could do everything. I think it's a perfect counter right there. It's a 1-2 punch.
You got all reliable Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds,
fucking workhorse.
He's having a career resurgence.
Yeah.
Jared Goff's not making mistakes.
Jared Goff has been nasty. He's nasty. I love Jared Goff.
They played well.
Detroit's first playoff win since 1991 or something.
Yeah, I mean, they're hyped. That's why that Bucs game is going to be ridiculous, in my opinion. I think the Lions win.
I think the Lions win as well.
They're tough at home, and they took care of business during the year to get home. The second seed or whatever, or were they second seed or were the Cowboys second seed? Cowboys might have been the 2 seed.
I mean, the only shitty thing is I do.
Well, hold on, I'm talking.
Sorry.
So they took care of business. They're going to be at home. They're going to be at home against the Bucs. Lions should win. That'll be. I'm hoping for a good game. But then all of a sudden, the Lions are in an NFC championship.
Yeah.
How about that?
Who would have thought that? I mean, I'll say this though.
Spaghetti.
I was.
These arms are wet.
Hey, he was there.
Vomit on my sweater.
He was there. Boots on the ground.
Oh, he was there.
Boots on the ground.
You see, the whole stadium was rapping "Lose Yourself" or whatever during the. Yeah. That was sick.
That's hilarious.
That's what I mean. They've just got the fans. They've got that vibe. It just feels like they're
no team plays better than a team who has had a drought and their fan base is behind them. And I just love that energy it gives off when, especially whether it's a school or a team, wherever the fuck, where they just aren't expected to win. They've just been in the gutters forever fucking long, and then the fans just come out and are just pumped, and the energy in the place is just outstanding.
You know what it reminds me of? What? Stay with me here. It reminds me of the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron came back in that 2016 Warriors series when they were at home. And the Cavs got back into it. It was like game 6 or something, and the Cavs won game 5, to make it 3-2.
The place is
and then
just
all of a sudden,
vibrating.
game 6, and the place is just
the place is jumping
bananas. And LeBron blocks Steph, and the crowd just like it feels like that type of environment where it's like, all right, we finally, at that time Cleveland hadn't won in 50-something years, a major professional sports championship or something, and obviously LeBron was supposed to be the one to end that drought from the day he put on sneakers.
Yeah,
and And it felt like at age 31 or whatever, he was finally tasting it, and that's what it feels like with this Detroit team. It's like they can finally like taste it.
Yeah.
And
They're within sniffing distance.
They're sniffing distance. They're catching a whiff. They're within sniffing distance for sure.
Dude, the
So
only
I'm
thing
looking forward to that game against the Bucks for sure.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the only thing that made me sad about the
Speak.
Rams Lions that was kind of one way or the other for me was I loved seeing Matthew Stafford. I kind of wanted him to go back to his old team, kind of win, but I was pulling for the Lions the whole time. The only thing is I was hoping
You
Stafford.
can't both for both.
I know, you can't have both. That sucks. And I was really pulling for the Lions anyways.
Matthew?
I
You
know.
wanted Matthew to win.
I know.
You wanted the Lions to win.
I already wanted the Lions to win. I'm saying part of me wanted Matthew Stafford to pull something out because of the fact that how it was and him coming back to his old team. I thought that would have been kind of cool, but either way, I'm Lions all the way, baby.
Knees weak, arms are sweaty.
And come next year, fucking Aaron Rodgers' new ACL. I'm Jets, baby.
ACL? He tore his ACL? I didn't think that. Jets? You're not a Jets fan. I'll smack you.
I'm not.
If you
I'm not.
try to say you're
I'm not.
a Jets
but I am
fan.
like I was this year. I am pulling for them. Same thing. I'm not a Jets fan.
What does that mean pulling for?
I'm pulling for them to have a really good season to make playoffs. Jets.
Oh, and make the playoffs.
So were you. So were you.
No.
I quote, I really like Zach Wilson.
Oh, well, Zach Wilson, not Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not saying him as a person. I just want the Jets. I kind of want the Jets to have a good season. And I think there was a chance.
Jets. That's stupid chant or whatever. Yeah, we'll see. But back to the divisional round. I'm telling you what, I like the 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday where you can go about your business each day, and then you got a couple ball games on if you want to throw a few back and kick, back to back. Not a whole lot of breaks, not a whole lot of yip yap, and
well, especially if there's still ice outside.
Yeah, Tristan doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless I got my snowshoes, and I don't. So I sure don't have chains on my tires. Maybe I need to call you and have him come hook them up.
Yeah, just maybe
get you on a roller cart or whatever. Get you on
a creeper. I can't go under a creeper. Are you talking about?
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I can't go under a car. It's too short.
What's too short?
You have to like jack it up. I don't think. What kind of car do you have?
I have a Ford Maverick, baby.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go under there very far, but
you're pretty little. You can fit.
Well, you'd be surprised.
You see that one football player got munched by a car? He was working on his car and it was jacked up, and all of a sudden just crushed his leg, and he lived, thankfully. But
no,
it was weird. Yeah, some football player.
Saw a video of it?
No, I don't think it's on video. Creep. But
have you not been on Twitter? There's you see some crazy shit on Twitter. I've seen people getting ran over by trains on Twitter, dude. I'm not kidding you. I've seen people get ran over by cars. I've seen people get shot. I've seen people get beat up. I've seen some crazy shit on Twitter.
It's funny you say that because my friend Gabe from George Fox, and we're still really good friends, he's super conservative. I mean, like old school conservative, and just but he's also like, he's just like set in his ways, doesn't, and when we were going to school up there, is right around like when the 2020 election was like starting to, like the primaries were starting to kick off, and like Democrats were getting into the race, and they were having debates and stuff, and we would talk politics all the time. He was fun to talk politics with, and super smart guy, lawyer now. And there was this video of this car going on a freeway on Twitter, and this truck jacked up, just tires just wider than a queen size mattress, just comes up behind. And this car was like, it looked like it was going the speed limit, and this was someone's like dash cam from behind, that just
yeah.
And this truck just doesn't even stop, just literally goes right through it like shit through a tin horn, and just obliterates it. Absolutely. I mean, there couldn't have been anything left.
What?
In terms of a body or a car. I mean, it
just eviscerated.
It just went straight through and munched it. And not even munched it, evaporated it. and I show him the video, And he's just like, he's not one to like overreact too much or something. And we were talking about like the Democrats or something. We were talking about internet censorship in China and everything going on, just censorship. And I show him the video, and I'm thinking he's gonna be like, "Oh, that's terrible," or something like that, and move on. And I watch it, and I turn to him, and he's got his hand over his mouth, like it's awful. And
It is.
he's got his hand over his mouth, and he goes, "You know, I'm okay with them censoring us from that," or something like that.
Dude, no,
he's like, "I'm good with them scrubbing that from the internet."
I was telling Jack this, and this is not. I've had a Twitter for a long time, and I've been a religious Twitter user for a very long time. And for the last year and a half, 2 years, I would say year, maybe not 2 years, I have seen, and then people are telling, oh, it's your algorithm. I'm like, no. It's not my algorithm, I promise you, because all my algorithm has been the same thing for like 8 years straight. It hasn't changed. I'm seeing way more shit that I'm like, I should not be fucking seeing this.
What?
Dude, dead bodies. A lot of dead bodies. I'm seeing people getting shot. I'm seeing people get ran over. I'm seeing people bounce off windshields. Like it's like a movie. I'm not kidding you. I've seen so much crazy shit.
That's got to be your algorithm.
It's not. Because my algorithm is all the same thing. It's all sports, including UFC stuff, right? And then it's comedy and movies and film. It's all been the same thing for like 8 years straight. And I'm telling you, out of nowhere, I started to like randomly on my home feed, I'm just going through and like, there's like dots on certain things. Not interested or whatever. But it's that, but it pops up on my home. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And maybe it's just me. I don't fucking know. Jack was telling me it was the same thing with him too. And I'm like, okay, something's fucking going on. It's fucking weird, dude. Like, I'm not kidding you. I'm seeing two dudes in the Bronx. This fucking drunk tweaker's just sitting there. He's vibrating. I don't know. He's tweaking. And these guys start fighting. This is not a joke. They're fighting, and then they're kind of fucking ducking, bobbing, and weaving. There's a train coming. Dude grabs him, throws him on the tracks.
House of Cards style?
Yeah, just gets fucking ran over. It shows the whole thing.
Boy,
no, I'm not kidding you.
Way.
I'm not kidding you. The fucking person's videotaping goes like this under the train. You see fucking splatters of blood everywhere. I'm like, whoa. Dude, I don't know what the fuck. It's like Reddit. It's like Reddit sometimes on Twitter. It's a dangerous place. Not to mention I see tits and ass everywhere too. What's going on? Shit's getting ruined. Same with Twitch too. Twitch is getting ruined as well.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. That's got
people are getting desensitized, dude. Dude, my nephew has like, I think we were hanging out. This was like a year ago or whatever, but he was just like, he was just going like through social media and shit like that. I'm just like, look, I'm like, and he was showing me just some shit. I'm like, dude, can you imagine? Like, I'm like, when we were like 16, 17, the accessibility to see some of this shit, I'm like, it never happened, and it's fucking nuts, dude. It's fucking nuts. I don't understand.
Yeah, the ones that get me are kind of the ones. For some reason, it's like the fan fights, or fights like two dudes in an airport getting in an argument, and all of a sudden, like they start swinging, and someone just getting knocked out cold and just hitting the ground, in 5
smacking
seconds,
the cement,
like that. Yeah, and just their head just being lifeless, smacking the, just taking one shot from a casual nobody, outside of the ring, outside of the octagon.
The fucking person's like,
just, yeah, right. In about 5 seconds, just because nobody knows how to defend themselves or anything, and so he just eats one right in the mouth, and just falls down like Goliath. And those are the ones that I watch those and I'm like, like that is just such a horrible, and it's it's usually some overweight dad that gets in an argument or something, and he's and then just all of a sudden he's out cold.
Well, dude, what's actually weird? I mean, a lot of those times, and you don't have to be hit super hard. It's when you hit the pavement and shit is when people get like life-changing injuries.
Right. That's what happens. Because the octagon's a lot safer when you hit that canvas.
Yeah.
And then when you're hitting freaking concrete.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously once you're,
Hearing the body smack on
once
cement
you're
is
out.
like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, just picture standing up and literally on cement and just like
Dude, even on the
completely
fucking floor right
falling
here, if
face
you just
first.
fall, like, not stopping yourself, it's fucking hard.
Yeah, think about if you trip down the stairs. How badly damaged you can. Like, remember Carrie Underwood when that happened to her or something? When she supposedly had all these freaking facial surgeries and stuff because she fell down the stairs walking out of her
I
house.
remember she fell on the stairs, but I didn't
And
know she had facial surgeries because of it.
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh my God.
and
Well, she probably
and
has a
so
lot
I'm
of
like,
steps at her house.
that's what scares me about. Like you can yeah, you're darn right. Like you can take a lot of damage.
Yeah, when you see someone getting their ass kicked. Okay, some of the times I've seen some ones that I was like, that was good. That was a good video. Because it was like, I knew everyone's fine, and it was just a good solid fight. But sometimes, dude, it's
It's
fucked
a good
up.
fight.
It was a good
I
fight.
smoked him in the early
I'm a
rounds. I had
scouser.
him.
Scousers don't get knocked out. I was gonna say, dude, when you see like I've seen videos like people like getting stomped out, like there's just 3, 4 guys just. I'm like, dude, that guy might be just life-threatening injuries right there. Like it's when you watch a fight and you see someone taking a bunch of punishment. Not to mention they have gloves and whatever the fuck else. I'm saying, dude, when you're out there and someone is just stomping your fucking head in, dude, you can't just take a bunch of those and be okay.
No,
Like people
no,
think
no, no,
people think, oh yeah, he got beat up, he's fine. I'm like, I don't think he's fine.
no. Well, that's what's you hear all these stories about going back to the Bronx or something like that in the 1900s and the 20th century. But it's like it feels like you could be you're always getting into fights, or
Yeah.
guys in the old days were always just getting into fights, and then but like you can't just get into a fight now. You're getting arrested.
Yeah, you're
You're
getting arrested.
you're
You're getting sued. You're getting whatever
right.
the fuck
And people are
else.
suing. Yeah, I mean there's too many cameras. Like you can't just all of a sudden throw down and no consequences
Yeah. Once
anymore.
upon a time you
It just
could, and it didn't even fucking matter.
yeah, get into a bar fight, and both guys are walking out of there, after a couple punches, just fine. But no, that's not a thing anymore.
No.
Um, but well, shoot, man, I gotta get back to work. What's our time?
Yeah, we're at an hour right now, so we're good.
Well, how about can we stop for a minute and let's talk about a plan to get some postable clips that we can gather from the Instagram, share it on my Instagram. Darn it, can we get a plan in place that can you stand where you stood and get this
Is that hey?
thing
That's a
solved?
saying. That's a good saying, isn't it?
Can you get this thing solved and
Yes,
upload it in a timely manner? I think you were uploading an episode from 2 weeks ago within the past week, and
I
I
did.
thought that was a little bizarre.
I did.
Let me look.
Okay. Well, anyways, I'm gonna stop the recording because the episode's over, and then we'll continue to talk about this. Okay. Okay. Good talk. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye.